Hey guys, stop digging and try this instead. So what exactly do I mean by that? So what I mean is about a few years ago, Nick and we used to dig all our beds over, and we spent hours and hours of pretty much back-breaking time and labor digging the soil, because we thought that's what you do. You know, we even hired rotavators, and we were like turning the soil, and we were like, wow, this is amazing. Getting that really light and fluffy soil. But it wasn't until we stumbled across the no-dig method, popularized by Charles Dowding, and that was 2 or 3 years ago that we really started to adopt no dig, and to us it's been amazing, at least for us anyway. So in this video I would like to share with you some of the benefits we have experienced with no dig growing, gardening, and why I think potentially you should give it a go as well. So first and foremost, one of the reasons we thought we had to dig the soil was to loosen up the soil, to get lots of air and nutrients into the soil. But yes, that might help in some cases, but what we actually discovered is the amount of weeds and moisture evaporation that we would get because we were constantly turning the soil. And then we learned, or we at least came across the information that actually we were damaging and killing the soil. We were killing the microbes and actually doing more harm than good. And if you look at industrial farming, they plow the fields all the time, and they are constantly spraying and having to deal with all the problems they get through destroying the soil effectively. So we decided, okay, cool, let's give it a go. So we simply mapped out a new market style vegetable plot on top of our existing beds. We ended up going on a course with Charles Dowding. It was amazing. We found it so beneficial and game changing. And we started to realize, okay, soil health is quite important here. Okay, cool. So what can we do? Okay, we need to add more organic matter to the soil, boost the plant, or I should say boost the soil health, because as you improve the soil health, you then improve the plant health. So we now focus on the soil as opposed to always looking at the plants and going, oh, what can we do? We look at the soil, that ecosystem, that world that we can't see, because once you get that right, you tend to see everything above ground respond in a much better way. So what we did is we ordered in tons and tons and tons of about 3-year-old, well rotted down organic horse manure, and we just layered it right on top of our existing beds. We even turned some of our grass pathways, which did look nice, but you always had to mow the lawn. We literally mowed it right down, and then we just put about 6 or 8 inches of this organic horse manure on top. Now, some people will sometimes lay cardboard and then they will go straight on top, but we decided, you know what, we just want to go straight, really hardcore with about 6 or 8 inches of this horse manure, and then we pretty much planted straight into it. Now that was, 2022, so about 2 years ago when we adopted that. Now it's been amazing. What I would say though is moving forward or what I would have done if I had access to it or had known, is I would have added in some organic compost as well. But at the time we just had access to tons and tons of well rotted down horse manure, and it was far cheaper than this organic compost that we were trying to source. So we went with that route, and most of the plants handled it fine, but it is incredibly rich. So some young plants, when you plant them into the well rotted down horse manure, they struggled. The leaves did start to, I believe they started to burn slightly. So what we have done is, fast forward to now, is we produce our own compost. So we mix compost in there, and we have seen an amazing improvement, or a much more better positive response to the plants that are going into the compost and the manure, as opposed to just the manure, if that makes sense. So if you have the option, maybe try adding compost as well, because your young plants might enjoy that a bit more. And also what we do notice though is our alliums, so our onions, leeks and garlic, and our brassicas, so our kales, cabbages, broccoli, stuff like this. they love that richness. Once those roots really get into the earth, they just go bang. It's amazing to see how well alliums and brassicas respond to those rich no-dig beds. So, hey, I think it's amazing. But on top of that, all we do each year now is at the end of the year, we just add about 2 or 3 inches of organic compost and manure and just top the beds up. We don't turn the beds. We save so much time, because by leaving the soil as like in nature, by leaving that soil as untouched as possible and simply just adding the organic matter on top, it just naturally breaks down, it feeds the soil life, and you haven't got to spend hours turning the soil. We still get weeds, but we get far less weeds. We just and pretty much everything we grow just responds so well. There's like this whole ecosystem, of mycelium and all these different bacterias which we're still learning about. It's just there, and the plants just tap into that world, and it's just phenomenal to see. So, and I believe it is better for the environment. If we keep destroying and turning over the soil, you can see what happens in industrial farming. So, and it's very natural as well, because if you think about it, if you go out into the forest, at the end of every season, you don't see, Mother Nature, whoever Mother Nature is, ploughing around all the trees. The leaves fall in autumn, in fall, and then they break down, and then they just naturally just feed the soil, and then you get this abundance of life growing. It's phenomenal. So we are, mimicking to a certain extent what happens in nature, and it's just amazing, and it saves us time. It saves us hours of backbreaking labor. Our soil, I believe, is much healthier. The plants are much healthier, less weeds, less watering. It's been just one of the best things I think we've ever done, really, is switching our minds into, focusing on the soil health as opposed to the plant health. Because a lot of people are like, oh, what do you feed your plants? What fertilizer or what this or what? I'm like, well, we don't do anything like that. We don't spend any money on any feeds or any, like store-bought bottles. We just focus on adding organic matter to the top of the beds every year and just letting it naturally break down and just feed the soil life. And as you work on the soil life, you get much better plant life. And in our opinion, it's just a win-win. The environment loves it, the plants love it, we love it. So give it a go and let me know how you get on. And if you've got any questions, then obviously just message us. Love to hear from you. And you can check out our grow guides and Nourish Garden Planner that we have in the description, where we go into more detail about how we do no dig, but also about the plants we grow, why we grow them, the seed companies we buy from, companion planting, the schedules about when to sow, when to harvest. This is just some of the information we have acquired over the last few years, and now we've put them into these grow guides and planners for you guys to hopefully enjoy and benefit from as well. So I'll leave it there, guys. Take it easy, and I will catch up hopefully with you all soon, all right?